Hi students, welcome to a new video of class 9th history. So today we are going to discuss a new chapter called the Age of Guptas. So I am giving this chapter on the basis of the reduced syllabus by ICSE board. So mainly we can see the Gupta Empire, the Gupta age is from 320 to 550 CE. Okay, and in short we can say this period was known as the era of golden age, or can be the golden age of Indian history. So we will say why it is in detail, everything we will say in the coming parts. So first we can see why or how can we know about this Gupta age. How can we know about the Gupta age? It means the sources to know about the Gupta age. First one we can say from the accounts or the writings of Fahian. Who was Fahian? Fahian was a Chinese pilgrim, visited India during the reign of Chandragupta Maurya II. Okay, Fahian was a Chinese traveler or a pilgrim. Who is a pilgrim? One who visits the holy places is known as a pilgrim. So here Chinese pilgrim Fahian visited India during the reign of Chandragupta Maurya II. And where all places, which all places he visited? He visited many places like Mathura, Kapilavastu and Kanauji, etc. And what does he say? Or what did he write in his memories? Or what did he write in his book? He says that Magadha was a prosperous with large town, and wealthy population. Okay, there were cities were there in Magadha and people were very wealthy. And there were a number of charitable institutions to take after, to look after people, to take care of people. Especially there were hospitals. It was controlled or run by the charitable funds, which were mainly given by the kings or some wealthy people. And though people were very wealthy, they led a simple life. What is the reason for that? Because most of the people followed Buddhism. Because as per the Buddhist ideology is what we have to lead a simple life. Then what were the major? He again says there were a number of religions existed in this time, which were they? Vaishnavism, Shaivism, Buddhism and Jainism. Okay, Vaishnavism, Shaivism, Buddhism and Jainism. And there was no fight among different religions. The people believed the religion they liked, but there was no ill will among people. So you belong to Vaishnava, so we don't talk to you. Such mentalities were not there. The penal code. So it is noted from the history that this time was the criminals or the crimes were very less in this time, in the time of Guptas. Okay, and so the penal code was very simple. Even the punishments were given in fines, as we have today fine system, maybe 100 rupees or 1000 rupees like that. It was the fine system was there. Okay, for small crimes there were no much crimes were not reported there, but still there were small when they do small mistakes, what was given as punishment? Fines were given as punishment. So the first account to know about, or the first source to know about the Gupta age is about the account of Fahian. This is what he says about the Gupta period when he visited India. So next we can see about the Allahabad pillar inscription. So the picture is given there. What is Allahabad pillar inscription? Or it is another name of it is Prayaga Prasasti. What it is? Prayaga Prasasti. Okay, it is a pillar. So it's basically a pillar, and there are some inscriptions on it, some writings on this pillar. And what are these writings? So these writings are composed by Harisena. He was a poet in the court of Samudragupta. Harisena was a poet in the court of Samudragupta. And these inscriptions or writings are the praises of Samudragupta. So Harisena wrote something to praise the king Samudragupta. That is what is there in the inscriptions. And in these inscriptions, mostly when he praised the Samudragupta, what Samudragupta did for the people or did for the country, it is very clearly explained. So the same thing about the rule and reign of Samudragupta is very clearly explained in the inscriptions. So we can clearly know about the administration styles of Guptas through this inscription. And also it is listed there about the kings and various kingdoms, or kingdoms means, or we can say the provincial areas, provinces, about the provinces of which comes under the Gupta empire. It is described there. Then about the political boundary, political geography, about the kings and peoples, about the population of first half of the 4th century. It is very clearly given in the Allahabad pillar inscription. Or it is another, what is another name of Allahabad pillar inscription? It is Prayaga Prasasti. Hope it is clear for you. Okay. So this is the first important point that is said by the board. Okay. That is the sources to know about the Gupta age. Then next we are moving to the important. First, in the beginning itself, in the introduction parts itself, I said that this period was known as the golden age of Indian history. Why it is? Because the art, education, science, culture, literature, everything flourished in this age. Flourished means it was well developed. There was a great development in these areas of art, literature, science, culture, education. In all these levels there was a good development. So this age, or even the kings supported, all the kings of Gupta age supported for the development of all these sciences. So this area or this era or this time can be called as the golden age of Indian history. So now we will discuss one by one about. First we will discuss about how was the education system in or during the Gupta period. First one, what were the main topics to be taught or studied? Literature, science, math, astronomy, astrology and medicine. These were the main topics they learned. Then, which were the major centers of education? Padaliputra, Ujjain, Ayodhya, Nasik. There were many educational centers where students got education. Then, teachers. Who were teachers? Teachers were the learned. Brahmanas were the teachers. They were called Acharyas or Upadhyayas, also known as Bhattas. Okay, teachers were, who were the teachers? The learned. Brahmanas were the teachers. And what were the names given for them? Acharyas or Upadhyayas, or also known as Bhattas. Okay, and they lived where? The kings were given separate villages for these teachers. The kings gave separate villages for these teachers, and those villages were known as Agraharas, where these Brahmanas stayed. Okay, teachers stayed. Those villages were known as Agraharas. And Shishya means what it is? Student. Acharya, Shishya. Shishya means student. A student has to learn almost 14 sections of science, or 14 books, or we can say or 14 subjects they need to learn. What are they? 4 Vedas, 6 Vedangas, the Puranas, the Mimamsa, Nyaya, Dharma, Vyakarana and the Mahabharata. These are the different topics or different subjects a student has to study. And there were also evidence about there were Buddhist monasteries were there. These monasteries also were a center of education. And once when a student joined, 10 years of training was there. In Buddhist monasteries, a student can join. So first stage or the stage starts for, or the duration of the education was 10 years. First they teach them by oral method. Then the second stage started with the reading of books. There were a number of huge libraries were there in the Buddhist monasteries. And how did they keep the books? They wrote the handwritten books were there and kept for studies. Okay, students from, and it is said that students from very different countries came to India and stayed in the monasteries to have education. And it is also said, for example, there is another Chinese traveler was there, Fa Hian. He came to India for studies. Fa Hian. Okay, Fa Hian came to India for studies. And there were a number of good universities, or the best universities in the world, that is Nalanda and Takshashila. Okay, Nalanda and Takshashila. This is the main points regarding the education during the time of Gupta age. Hope it is very clear for you. Okay, then next it is, we will see just a small detail about Nalanda University. Okay, most renowned education institution in India. It was the most renowned educational institution in India. It was a university located. Where is it located? It was located, or now also it is there. It is in a new form. Okay, it is located in Bihar. And Huyan Sang visited this place and learned from here. And he says, Huyan Sang, in his report or in his writings, he says there were 8 colleges there under Nalanda University. There were 8 colleges, and there were great libraries, big libraries were there. What was the name of that libraries? Ratnasagar, Ratnodhadi, and Ratnaranjak. And there are 3 big libraries. And almost at a time 10,000 students and teachers were there at a time. Okay, and students from different countries reached India to learn in, or to be trained in the Nalanda University, where are Mongolia, Japan, Tibet and Korea. The students from different countries like Mongolia, Japan, Tibet and Korea came to India to study in the Nalanda University. Now we will see a description about science. How was science during this period of Gupta? So astronomy, medicine, metallurgy, etc. all these were the main field of study. Okay, and now we will see some of the important scientists. We can say some of the important scientists. Okay, so we can, first one is Varahamitra. Okay, Varahamitra, and he is an astronomer. He was an astronomer and a mathematician. He was an astronomer and a mathematician. In his book Brihat Samhita, he wrote a book about astronomy and about the earth, that is known as Brihat Samhita. Some related, many matters related with astronomy and some other things. So in that book he says that he speaks about, or he says about the rotation of moon and the earth. That means the moon rotates around the earth and the moon rotates around the sun. About this revolution and rotation he speaks about in his book Brihat Samhita. Okay, so before the foreigners speak about these things about the astronomy, about the earth and the moon, Varahamitra before centuries he wrote about the rotation and revolution of earth. Then the second scientist, or can say as Brahmagupta. What is his name? Brahmagupta. He wrote about the law of gravitation before Newton. Okay, Newton has is a recent guy. So before years, before decades, or before centuries, who this Brahmagupta, he spoke about the law of gravitation. Then another important science was metallurgy. What is this metallurgy? You might have studied in lower classes. How to use metals properly. Okay, metallurgy. Okay, that is what metallurgy is. The science related to the metals is known as metallurgy. And see, the people were very well aware of how to use the metals. The great example is if you go to Delhi, Qutub Minar, there is an iron pillar is there. Okay, iron pillar is there which has no rust. You know what is, I hope that you know what is rust. Till now it is a pure iron pillar. There is no, we cannot find any rust in that. So such purified form of iron they used to make that pillar. Okay, so that is a clear example to how the people of India were known how to use the metals properly. Then another two important, so that is Charaka and Susruta. About they are from the field of medicine. Charaka and Susruta, they are from the field of medicine. Okay, they are Ayurvedic, can be called as Ayurvedic doctors. And it is said that they performed operations even. They performed the surgical operations as we do. It is said that. And one of the important astronomer or scientist we can say is Aryabhatta. So we will see little detail about him. Aryabhatta, he was an astronomer and mathematician. He wrote two books named Aryabhattiyam and Surya Siddhanta. What are the two books? Aryabhattiyam and Surya Siddhanta. In this book, Aryabhattiyam, he explains about the solar and lunar eclipse, the reasons for the solar and lunar eclipse, and also he also proved that Earth rotates around Sun. Okay, about the rotation of Earth around Sun, he also spoke about it. And there are some more inventions made by him. What are? How to find out the area of a rectangle. He put forward, or we can say he introduced the theory how to find out the area of a triangle. Also he calculated, he also gave the exact value of pi, that is some used in maths. I am not much familiar with maths. Then another one, trigonometry, a branch of mathematics. Trigonometry is also developed by Aryabhatta. And the most important thing, he introduced the decimal system and he gave a contribution of zero. System of zero was given by Aryabhatta. Okay, hope that the science part is clear. Then now we will see about the culture and literature. What about the culture and literature during the Gupta period? The culture, what it is? It was Gupta period. It was a well organized state and it was with political stability. There was no confusions in the country. It was a political stability king, and very well they ruled the country. And trade and commerce flourished because there was a correct control by the king. Okay, the king was so strict and also he had a direct control over everything. So the trade and economy flourished. Economic prosperity led people. So there were enough and more. The economic prosperity, the people had enough money. Also in the beginning itself we saw that the people were very wealthy. So this led, when people had enough money with them, they need not worry about anything. So they had enough time to spend on art and literature, craft. Okay, good development. So that is why the main reason why people concentrated on, or why this area became the golden age of Indian history. Okay, temples were made. So before the Gupta period, how people made temples and homes? They used wood, mainly the wood was used. But after that, or during the time of Gupta period, what were the main components used to make temples and houses? It was stones and bricks. They started to make with stones and bricks. So one such example we can see in Deoghad. Well, there is one temple where Vishnu temple is there. That Dasavadara temple. The picture I have given here, the Dasavadara temple. It is a clear picture of it is clear evidence of the architecture, how they used, or the change happened in the field of architecture. Instead of wood, they used bricks and stone to make this temple. And what are the main features of this temple? That we will see in next point. The Savadara temple with a shikara. What is shikara? It is called a tower. You can see in the picture. And made of bricks and stone. It has a 1.5 meter high platform. The temple is built on a base. What is the height of that base? 1.5 meter. Exterior, okay. Exterior means you know what is outside the temple. The temple walls are decorated with scenes from Ramayana. Entrance and pillars were adorned with paintings and carvings. Dedicated to Lord Vishnu, who is shown asleep on a snake called Sheshanaga. And here, what is the main statue or used, or the what we can say? What is the main statue they adore there? It is the symbol that Lord Vishnu sleeps on a snake. What's the name of that snake? It is Sheshanaga. Okay. Outer, there is also an outer wall, a boundary wall for the temple. So this is about how they made a temple. As for the present temple, if you go to some South India or somewhere, you can see this same pattern of making temples. You can see. Okay, the same, still now also they follow this same pattern for making temples. Okay, it has a boundary, inside that there is a raised part, then there is shikara, all those you can see especially in South Indian temples you can see. Okay, so this is about the culture. Then we will see the literature. Literature, you know what is about the writings of poems, drama, novels, all these are known as mainly the literature works. So here literature also developed much or flourished much during this period. So one of the main patrons of, or one of the main personality of this time was Kalidasa. Who was Kalidasa? Kalidasa was a great poet and a playwright. Playwright means drama writer. Okay. And what are his main poem works? It is Ridu Samhara, Raghuvamsha, Meghaduta and Kumara Sambhava. Okay, these are the main poems he wrote. Then the drama, what is Vikram Urvashiyam, Malavigangi Mitram, Abhignana Shagundalam. These are the main dramas he wrote. Okay. And Abhignana Shagundalam, it is a love story of Dushyanta and Shakuntala. Dushyanta is a king. Okay. Dushyanta was a king and Shakuntala was a lady from a poor family, and they got in love. That is the story behind the Abhignana Shakuntala. And their son Bharata, they have a son, and it is believed that from his name, what India got the name Bharata or like that. Okay, there is some mystery behind there. Some myths are there. Then, what are the main subject about the Kalidasa wrote about? Okay, what are the main subject he dealt with? The main subject of his poets, drama, and the writings were love, nature, and beauty. What are the main topics for his writings? It is love, nature, and beauty. Okay. Also, it is not only Kalidasa's poems or dramas were not only described about the nature, love, or beauty. It also gives a detailed information about the government system, what they were having, government system, society, and religion. It gives a detailed picture about the government of that, what type of government or what type of kings. Okay. Kings they were having, and what type of religion they were following, how the society was, about everything. Through this, that means the novels or the poems he wrote, it is the depiction of the society, that days present society was. It was the just copying of the society or about the government or whatever it is. And also it gives about the traces. It narrates about the history, political history of that time. That means about it can be about the Gupta age. So he might have given some other names for the characters in that, but it spoke about the Gupta kings and their way of style and the way of style of the people, the culture, about everything. So hope that it is very clear for you. The chapter is, I am concluding chapter here, and for the students I am giving the answers here. You can copy down these answers. Already we have discussed this in the online classes. Only to make you more clear with the class, I am giving this video. So please go through this, and if there is any doubt, you can ask in the live class. Okay. Otherwise, you can make comments.